edition of the Artist Spotlight Show, and man, do we got a treat for you this morning. Her name is Ann Charles. She's a renowned author. Several best-selling books are out there right now. We're going to find out about those books. We're going to find out about her writing process. What's the craziest things ever happened to her as an author? And at the end of the interview, we're going to have a really fun question segment with her. And we're going to find out this and much more. Again, our show this morning is being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide and Biker Bay Barber and Company and Table and Mike Productions up in Asheville, North Carolina. If you're an upcoming aspiring artist looking to get your name out there, you found us. Send your request to info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. And so without any further ado delayed, let's welcome our special guest. She is the one, the only. I got chills down my spine introducing her. Here is Ann Charles. How
Good
are you this morning, my
morning.
friend?
Good morning. I am awake, and that's a good thing, right? In the morning, getting up, getting out of bed, that's all positive stuff. So I'm doing great overall. Here in Arizona, we're starting to we're getting our monsoon storms rolling in, which is wonderful for our forest fires and our plants. So it's all good.
I love Arizona. So I'll tell you a really funny story to kick off our show. I was up in Vegas, right?
Uh-huh.
And I rented out a convertible to drive from Vegas to Arizona. I always wanted to see the Grand Canyon.
Right.
Never had an opportunity to do that. So here I am in a convertible with with the top down. I'm driving through the desert, right? And then I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize that you had to go up to another level to check out, the Grand Canyon. So I'm in my shorts and a t-shirt and everything. I get up to the second level. I get out of the car. People are like looking at me like, "It's cold up there. Are you not cold?" I'm like, "No, I mean, I'm from New York. This is like spring for us." And they started laughing. And so I had an opportunity to go to the Grand Canyon. So that's my little story for you for up in Arizona. So
It's gorgeous. I was lucky enough to here in Arizona at fourth grade. Kids take a field trip to the Grand Canyon, and we're about 2 hours away. So yeah, I've been to it many times because we live here, and it was really interesting going up with a bunch of fourth graders on a school bus to the Grand Canyon. And I tell you though, they had us. Each of us had a group of about 10 kids that we would watch and take around to the different things or ranger talks. But one of the things was to go down the trail down to the bottom and go just a little ways and see some uh, cave art kind of on the walls. And you take 10 kids down a trail with no guardrail with the Grand Canyon drop off, and it ages you about 5 to 10 years by the time you're down and back up, because kids like
oh
to
wow.
walk along the edge, and just, ooh, look at me. I was like, hug the wall. Everybody hug the wall. And, hikers coming up were in their lane. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I've got 10 kids and I'm not losing one over the edge of the Grand Canyon on my watch. So yeah, it was that was a whole new way to experience the Grand Canyon. And one of them got sick, and the poor kid was vomiting right there at the beautiful viewpoint. So I'm helping the kid with his vomit, and I thought, yeah, this is not the Grand Canyon experience that I expected today. But overall, it was a wonderful time, and yeah, I just don't ever want to go to the Grand Canyon with that many kids again.
Talking about living on the edge, huh?
I was literally on the edge. Oh boy. Yeah.
Well, let's kick off our show this morning. And if you can tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how did your journey begin in becoming a renowned author?
So I've been doing this since the late 1900s. And it's not something I ever planned on doing. This I just kind of stumbled backwards into it, which is how I live a lot of my life. It seems like I enjoyed reading growing up, and that was before social media and all that good stuff. So we read books and watched movies whenever they'd come on regular TV, and I grew up reading westerns and romances and horror, and all kinds of different genres mixed together. So in the 1990s, I thought, I kept reading different romances, and I wanted more out of the ending. It wasn't that they weren't good, I just wanted something more. So I kind of had a self talk and said, if you're going to sit here and complain about it, why don't you just write your own story and make it the ending that you want, as long as you want, do whatever you want. So I did, and I wrote that book by hand, and it was pretty bad, but I still have it. It's in my, up on my shelf over here. And that was kind of the start in realizing, oh, hey, this is kind of fun when you get to escape into Storyland and create your own, characters. And so I just kept going from that. And I had life happening. I did the 10-year college plan for a 4-year degree, so with 4 different colleges. So I kind of bounced around, and um, I kept getting stuck into English 101 at every college I went, and not because I had bad grades. It was just everybody thought they had the best English class around. So after the fourth English 101, I thought, okay, really, this is what you need to be doing, apparently. The universe is telling you you need to work at your English and you need to write. So it just built from all that together, and I kept writing stories and learning as I went. And I wasn't an instant, you know, oh, I'm the best writer ever right out of the gate. I was pretty bad. Had a critique from a published writer who pretty much trashed me and told me, basically give it up. But I just kept going and thinking, I can get this. I can learn this. I just have to keep practicing it. And uh, that was, I don't even want to think about it. It's like 10, 30 years ago. Oh my gosh. So it's been a long road. Published the first book in 2011, and I had kids. I had a lot going on, but uh, I just, it was my first in the Deadwood series, which I thought was going to be a single title. And now this fall, I'll start book 15 in that series. So it's not a single title series. It's a whole ball of wax, which is wonderful and fun. And the fans just adore. So I'm fortunate to have so many readers that love the story and my sense of humor on the page, because all my books are about humor, mixed into supernatural, mystery, romance, adventure, just thrown all together and between the covers. So that's kind of it. And I'm working on, I think this is book 40 that I'm just finishing up. I have about 10,000 more words and I wrap this one up. So just keep on going, keep on writing and telling fun stories.
Did you say you've got 10,000 words left on this next
Yeah,
book?
it's going to be about 125,000 word total. So I've got 10. I'm at the very end and having fun with the end of this one. And it's the 7th book in my Jackrabbit Junction mystery series. So wrapping that thing up, and then I'll shift gears and start working on the book my husband and I, the series my husband and I co-write, the Deadwood Undertaker series. And he's in the last third of it too. So I'll switch over to that for a while I prep to write Deadwood Mystery number 15.
That's amazing. I mean, when you tell me like 10,000 words, I'm like freaking out over it. It's like, oh my God, I could like never do that.
Oh,
It's like 10,000 words. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be here from now to eternity. you know?
you sound like my daughter who's in college, and she's like, oh, I have to write a 500-word essay. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I just dropped 3,000 words this afternoon. What are you talking about? Come on, you can do it.
Wow. Let me ask you this. Is there a particular book or author who has really inspired you during your career? If so, what book or author was it, and why have they been such an inspiration in your amazing career?
Like I said, I've read across the board. I dabble into historical romances a lot of times when I'm not reading or not writing, because it's such a different genre from anything I write, and it's kind of like an escapism. So I don't have like a set favorite author in different categories. I grew up, Stephen King, reading through so many of his stories, which were so much fun. Um, and then westerns. I read a lot of westerns, like Zane Grey, who I really he's from way back in the early 1900s when he was publishing, and it's such a different feel for the way they use language. So that's always fun. And Louis L'Amour in the Western genre, of course. And then there's tons of romance authors that I am a fangirl for because I've just read many over the years that anywhere from just light romance to heavy duty romance. I bounce all over. And that was the when I started writing, I was really struggling to figure out what am I going to write because I thought I was going to do just romance, and turns out that's just tough for me to have, no dead bodies, nobody's being shot at, nothing, like that for just a general romance. And so I started adding everything, all kinds of stuff in. Nowadays, we have romance has tons of different subcategories, as does mystery, as do, everything. With e-retailers coming in like Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Kobo, we're fortunate because now we don't have to just stick to 70% of mystery only and very little anything else mixed in. We can throw all kinds of stuff together because we're not trying to fit on a physical bookshelf under a certain category anymore. We're allowed to choose multiple categories that our books fall under. So you can find me in supernatural, you can find me in mystery, you can find me in romance and humor. So it's really a great time to be an author of mixed genre stories.
Without giving away the family recipe, how do you come up with the ideas to write your amazing books? What does that look like?
It's very scattered. It's not. I'm not super left brain when it comes to writing. I'm more in the middle. I will I will sit down with an idea, and I will do a few different charts, like plot lines and some threads, and what I want the characters, how I want them to grow in each story, and I'll kind of do some general things like that, and it looks really messy. Um, actually, for those who are able to view a video, you can see it's really messy. That's just a plot line chart. So I throw it all together, and I do a really high level outline from start to finish. It's not long. I'm just talking. It's one page with different columns with a line or two each, and then I start the story, and I can tell you just about 99% of the time, by the time I hit the first turning point in the story, I'm not even following that anymore. The story's taken on its own life, and I'm just there to record what happens. It's like watching through the keyhole of what's going on in the story world, and writing it down and telling all my readers what's happening, which is wonderful and scary when you get blocked because it's like I'm not sure what's coming next because we're on a new road that I didn't plan on, taking. So, um, but that's part of the fun for me is each story when I'm done, it's not what I started thinking, started with what I figured it would be. It ends up to be a whole different thing on its own. I have a theme that I try to stick with in each scene, and that kind of keeps the story together. The current book I'm working on, for example, the theme is chaos with a premise of secrets cause chaos. So this book's like writing a bull out of the chute. I mean, it's just chaotic the whole time, but that's the theme. And so just roll with it and tell the story that comes out. And that's the fun of telling, writing books.
You have several books out there right now that are bestsellers. Your books are reaching people around the
Hmm.
world, and you're making a difference in their lives, no matter what type of book that they're reading from you. How does that make you feel?
It's awesome. I mean, that's the reason so many of us authors just, keep pounding our heads on the desks and keep going is because we get these amazing, heartfelt, emails from readers or reaching out in different ways and telling us, how it helped them get through this time. Especially, I write humor. So I've had some wonderful readers that tell me, they had a relative in the hospital they were reading the books to, and it kept them going. Their parent was not doing well, and so they read the books together, and just laughed. And just the idea that I'm giving people joy and laughter is what keeps me, returning to the keyboard every time because I think laughter is just 100% medicine, positivity medicine that we need to keep going. So I just keep trying to give them laughs and give them some heartfelt, stories that, make them want to come back and hang out with these characters again and again.
As you began, let's take a step back on memory lane. When you first began your career, what was the best advice you ever got? Who was it from? And how has that inspired you as you continue that amazing journey?
I think, I attended a lot of conferences and different, workshops when I was just getting rolling. And I'm sure it was said, and I can't remember who said what. One of them was, when it comes to humor, and oh, it was Jennifer Cruzy. When it comes to humor, don't make fun of other people. That's not where the humor is on the page. The humor is when you turn the camera back on the character themselves, your main character, whoever's head you're in. You turn the humor around, and it's about them. It's not about let's poke fun at other people. That's just, that can be cruel. You can say, I have some really quirky characters, and the main character might feel like, did she really say that, or did he really do that? Oh my, but then it always comes back to focusing on yourself, as the character. When I say yourself, it means I'm in their head. But bring the humor back and poke fun at the main characters whose head you're in, or that way, because then it's more funny, and then people can relate to it. Because we a lot of times through life, yeah, there are people that make fun of other people, um, but most of the time, the most laughter we receive is when it's something we do. You trip on the carpet in front of a bunch of people, and you're like, oh, who put that step there? And you just kind of roll with the humor. So that was really big. It taught me how to write humor, how to make people laugh on the page, which isn't always easy. People think, oh, I'm going to write stories and they're going to be super funny. But I've met a few of the humor authors out there that, I'm friends with, over time. And we all agree that this is hard, because there are days when we're not laughing, inside. We're struggling with life. And you got to sit down and you got to write stuff that's funny. But some of the best comedians out there have had tragic lives, and they've learned how to take that tragedy and turn it into humor. And so that's just all that together. It was one of the best lessons about pushing forth. And I use it in everyday life. Things are rough. Things are, something's making me hurt. But then it's like, find the little joys, find the little thing that makes you smile and laugh, and soak that up.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. In your journey, see, there are that are going to come your way. How do you deal with those roadblocks and to continue your amazing career?
Well, I just have been going through, excuse me, the last few years. Um, my father got really, he was in the hospital for weeks, and so I went and stayed with him quite a bit in the hospital, and that was really wearing. And then within a year, my mom passed away,
Oh, sorry.
and that went quick. So it was like a double whammy. And my kids are getting older. I came into it's midlife time with all the struggles where you're in the sandwich years between your parents and older kids, and you're trying to balance helping your kids, but then helping your parents. So this has really slowed me down from what I used to do in, just 3, 4 years ago, what I was producing versus over the last couple. And I started really getting down on myself about, this is just too hard. I'm slipping. I'm not doing what I should be doing. I need to be much busier. And then I started stressing more, and it just, it piles up on itself. And all of a sudden you're just stuck because you're in this horrible mindset. And so I've really worked over the last year to get myself back up on my feet, get out of that, find the joy in writing again. And as much as I'd like to write as fast as I used to, I'm slowing down. But I want to enjoy life. These things happening, losing my mom, losing, almost losing my father, made me realize how important family is, and not to
Mhm.
be in my office, 12 hours a day, spend more time with my kids who are now young adults, because they'll be going away in time, and that's going to break my heart. So just it was just a readjustment of, hey, it's okay to slow down sometimes. It's okay to take longer to write a story. Just keep working on writing the best you can, and keep the machine going. Even if it's at a slower pace, you can always pick up the speed at a later time if you need to.
Another question for you. Let's stay on memory lane. Obviously, you've had a lot of amazing accomplishments, well documented, and you've had a lot of amazing memories. So, with that being said, are there any specific memories that you still think about today that you'll never forget? If so, which one or ones are they, and why are they so important to you?
Well, one of the first big awards, that national award that I won, the Daphne du Maurier for Deadwood, Nearly Departed in Deadwood, the first book in that Deadwood mystery series, was a huge moment. It wasn't just, um, there was a mix of things that happened. I had been trying to get in with a big publisher, one of the big ones out of New York, and had almost made it. I was rejected at the last acquisition meeting by marketing, which was crushing. And then I turned around and said, okay, fine. It's a thing now to, create small presses, and go through that route and publish your own stories via your small press. And I won double awards, two national awards within a year. One was, like I said, the mystery one, and the next one was the Romance Writers of America one for, it's romance with other, secondary romance in a fiction book. So it was just this moment of, wow, I can make it. I can make this work. Um, Published it via the small press. And the first year was the first 6 months was a little slow, but then with some marketing and promotion, it picked up speed. And suddenly I was hitting the charts. And it was a moment of, oh, I thought I was going to take this route and do it this way, but it turns out there's a whole nother route I didn't even, think about, that is working, and it's a successful route. And wow, this is amazing. It's nothing like what I thought it was going to be. So that was a pretty big, it wasn't like an instant moment. I mean, each win with these contests was huge, because it just, it told me that even though that author years ago, or the one that trashed me, kind of, hey, I did it. I finally reached the point where I am doing it right. I'm writing the stories people are enjoying. So that was big. I had another one that, I was a question on Jeopardy with Alex Trebek, and that was just mind blowing. That, my name was said on Jeopardy, and now every now and then I'll still get people go, "Hey, you were on Jeopardy last night." So that was just another moment along the way that was like, wow, I had no idea that one would happen. And I think that's something in any career, something to keep in mind, especially writing, is that you may think you're going to try to go this route and be this, huge bestseller this way, but that's not necessarily the way you'll go. You don't know until you get out there, you start trying, you start marketing, you start meeting readers, and you just don't know what opportunities are going to come your way, that are amazing. So I always think of it, this is not a fast sprint. This is a marathon. And sometimes you got to pause and take drinks and, rest a little and work out a muscle cramp. And other times you're just running strong. So, you just kind of enjoy the whole adventure along the way.
Thanks for sharing that. And so, here's my next question to you. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you in your career?
Oh boy. Um,
Oh, before you answer that, I have to let you know that this is a family show.
yeah, right. Oh boy. I don't know. There's just been so many. It's been such a fun-filled career. So many laughs shared with readers. Every year we do a Deadwood. Well, we took a couple of years off, but we're back again this year. We do a Deadwood fan party where we all go to Deadwood, South Dakota, where the books, a couple of the series are set, And we have, besides book signings, we get together for, events. We've done ghost tours, because Deadwood is really known for being haunted. And every place, you can't throw a stone at Deadwood without finding a ghost, I swear. So we've had some great adventures, groups of us going through haunted brothels, different famous haunted houses. It's just filled with laughter, and fun along the way. So I don't really have like one memory of something, super funny. I just have, when you ask me that, it just, my mind filled with all these different laughs I've shared with, different readers, sometimes in haunted houses, somebody getting scared and you're laughing so hard, that you're crossing your legs, trying not to pee your pants because you're laughing so hard, and you're, shh, be quiet, we're in a haunted house, things like that. It's just been an amazing um, 15, 20 years of hanging out with readers, hanging out with other authors, enjoying, the highs and the lows. And I don't know. I look forward every year to, okay, what's the adventure this year? What are we going to do now? You know, I've
Mhm.
some of the haunted things I've experienced have been a little wild. And I've been able to go into some buildings I never would have if I wasn't writing what I, do, and get to explore because the owners or whoever's, working there wants me to, wants to share with me with what they experience in those buildings. So all that is just made for a wonderful career in this crazy life I did never expect to do. This wasn't what I planned. So I think that's probably going to be on my tombstone, is here lies Anne. It was not what she planned.
Oh man, we're talking about tombstones now.
I'm getting, I'm getting up there. I keep every
Okay, I
year.
wasn't ready for
So,
that, you know. Yeah, okay, I gotta give that one to you though. I've got to give that one to you. That was good. You almost made me lose my train of thought, and I've been doing these interviews for years, and it's never happened. So it's such a joy to have you on our show. As we're winding down our interview this morning, there's a lot of upcoming aspiring authors, just like how you started. What advice would you give them?
it's the thing I say time and again because it's so true. You have to persevere. It's perseverance. That's the name of this game. And like I mentioned before, there's highs and there's lows. It's not a straight upward, jaunt always for everyone. I'm sure there's authors that just have gone up and up and up, and kudos to those. But most of us have things that knock us down and leave us there on our knees trying to go, what happened? How am I going to get out of this? So you can't give up. If this is what you really want, you have to keep trying. And it doesn't mean the one route you think you're going to take is going to work. You have to open yourself up to whatever's coming, and what's going to come your way. There's just so many amazing things that can happen at conferences with readers, at conferences with other authors. You just keep trying, keep putting words on the page and practicing and mastering your art. There's I am far from being the author I'd like to be. I'm always working and keep challenging myself with each book. And halfway through that book, I'll go, why did I think I could do this? Why did I think this would be a great thing to try on the page? But by the end, I feel like, yeah, I got it. I did it. I mastered that next step I didn't think I could ever do. So just keep going. But take time for life. Definitely. Family, friends, all that. Make sure you still enjoy life, because otherwise I think your writing will suffer.
This is your time right now. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you like to share with our audience? If so, the floor is yours.
Um, the books are available in ebooks, in print, and audio. So everything I have is out there. If you like to listen while you take a train or while you're driving across, the country in a semi, whatever you're doing, you can find the books in the format that works for you. So yeah, and the newest, Chewed Up by the Jungle, which is the third in my Dig Site series. just came out on audio. So and I use live narrators, no AI. Um, they're wonderful narrators. They're just amazing storytellers. They give me chills when I read it. I will even listen and wince at the things that I know are coming, and laugh when the hero drops the joke. And it's just so cool to hear somebody reading your story, someone else. It's just amazing to hear them bring your life or your characters to life. So anyway, my website is www.anncharles.com, and you can go there to the book section and find the links for everything.
How did you get in contact with Mickey and his amazing team? How did that happen?
That was at a conference. It was the Deadwood or the South Dakota Festival of Books in Deadwood that I go to. I've gone to for years, and he was there representing another author. And I did a workshop with that author on marketing, and he was in the room and he was taking pictures, and he came up and talked to her several times. And I said, uh, "Who is this guy? Is he just a wild fan of yours? Really into your books?" And she said, "No, he's my publicist. He's amazing." And she told me a little bit about him, and I said, "Oh, could you see if he'd be willing to meet with me?" And when we met, he already had a contract ready because he sat in my marketing meeting, so he knew what I did as a marketer. And so it was just a match. We were brought together. It was like kismet. We're just meant to work together. And that was like, I think 7 or 8 years ago. So it's been a while. But yeah, he's a great guy. Love what he does. He's an amazing publicist.
Yeah, we want to thank Mickey and his team for bringing this interview this morning together, and we've got like 8 interviews this week, and of those
Yeah.
eight, I think 5 of them are from Mickey and his amazing team. So you want to take a few moments here to say thank you for that. Now, before we go on Artist Spotlight Show, one of our mottos is expect the unexpected.
Okay.
Here it comes. Expect the unexpected. We're going to call this um, fun lightning round. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some choices. You have to pick one or the other. You
Okay.
ready? I don't really think you're ready.
It's now, to be fair, it's 6:30 in the morning here, so I'm going to do the best I can.
Well then, I mean, since it's 6:30 in the morning, this first one is gonna be right down your alley. You ready?
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Unfortunately, tea. I like coffee, but it doesn't like me anymore.
Okay, we'll stop right there. Okay, morning writer or late night writer?
Oh, late night every time. That's why I'm holding my eyelids open with toothpicks.
What is your favorite place to write?
My office here. Just have it set up nicely, so and an air conditioner. So my office.
Alrighty. Paperback, hardcover, or ebook?
Ebook, because I want to travel with 20 different books to choose from.
All right. Here's another one. If one of your books became a movie, who would you love to see cast in it?
Oh, Henry Cavill, come on. Wait, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's amazing too right now. So one of those two would be amazing. I'd love it.
All right. If you could have dinner with any author, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's so hard. There's so many authors that I'd love to meet. Mark Twain. He would
Okay.
undoubtedly think I'm just an idiot, but it would be amazing to sit there with him.
All right. That concludes our session of Asking the Pro. I mean, again,
Awesome.
on behalf of Mickey and this amazing team at Music Dreams USA Radio, we had so much fun with you this morning, and we're going to have you back for part two. I
Awesome.
definitely would love to have you back and appreciate your time and you're amazing in what you do and everything. So, all the best as you move forward in your amazing career. And again, thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you for having me on. It was great to chat with you. You gave me some early morning laughs that I didn't expect. And now I have something for my tombstone. Go figure.
Hey, well, Tombstones, and you maybe could say compliments of Russell K.
We'll add that on. Yeah,
Oh
right.
man. Dan Charles with us here on the Artist Spotlight Show, being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide. And again, a special thank you to Mickey and an amazing team for setting up this interview this morning with us. Again, we're being brought to you by Roslov Family Sports. When it comes to sports, we've got you covered. And Biker Bay Barber and Company supporting live music. And Table and White Productions up in Nashville, North Carolina. If you're an upcoming author, look there, send us a request, info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. It's your friend Russell K wishing you yours a very pleasant rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching the Artist Spotlight Show. Be with us throughout the rest of the day. We have a jam-packed schedule today, tomorrow, and Thursday. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Music Dreams USA Radio Official on our YouTube channel. If you check out our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to that channel. Until next time, friends, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.